Elon Musk's task force has been pushing to gain access to sensitive government information targeting a federal agency. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has that story. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency have promised to take a wrecking ball to the federal government, vowing to cut trillions of dollars in spending and to dramatically reduce the number of government employees. Now we have learned that his team has gained access to something extraordinarily sensitive, the system that the Treasury Department uses to disperse almost every check and expenditure of any kind made by the U.S. government. Sources tell ABC News that Elon Musk's team now has access to the Treasury Department's payment system, essentially the government's checkbook, which processes trillions of dollars in payments and includes personal information for hundreds of millions of Americans. The access was granted over the weekend over the objection of at least one senior Treasury Department official who has been put on leave. Neither the White House nor Treasury Department has responded.
Did Elon Musk find these guys on Twitter, by the way? We've entered the cool zone. We've been in the cool zone. We've been firmly inside of the cool zone, the zone where historians talk about what went wrong. They're all Theo Blood Boys and SpaceX interns. Nice. Very cool that a bunch of groiped up shouties are now tasked with undermining federal agencies. It's craziness.
To our request for comment. But after midnight last night, billionaire Elon Musk talked about his efforts to shake up the government on his social media platform, X.
There's already been really tremendous progress. We've, rough estimate is that there's at least a few $1 billion a day of savings.
One of Musk's top targets, USAID, the federal government's foreign aid agency.
As we dug into USAID, it became apparent that what we have here is not an apple with a worm in it, but we have actually just a bowl of worms.
On Friday night, a DOGE team showed up at the USAID offices in Washington and demanded access. Sources familiar with the incident tell ABC News. After a standoff, security guards ultimately led them in. Now, more than 100 USAID staffers have been placed on leave. Many more have been locked out of internal systems, and the organization's Trump-appointed chief of staff has resigned. USAID's $43 billion budget is a tiny fraction of federal spending, about 1%.
The undermining of U.S. aid, which still benefits American empire, the ultimate goals of this agency have not changed. Donald Trump is not like a world unifier, okay? He is not trying to de-escalate American interference in foreign nations. If that was the case, he would be handling Israel a lot differently. He'd be handling Ukraine a lot differently. So far, he hasn't, right? There's some shifts that have taken place, and we'll see what kind of results it'll yield. But having said that, he's not going to decide all of a sudden that America is only interested in developing the United States of America and no longer interested in like maintaining its global hegemonic superpower. USAID is not just interference. It is the largest funder of all humanitarian aid in the world. 500 of my colleagues just got furloughed from there. No, I know. I'm saying that there is also good there as well. So I suspect that maybe they'll take away like any number of different aid initiatives that USAID actually engaged in, and will simply only do the bad interference shit.
But its support is a critical lifeline for people in need around the world, all while spreading American goodwill. Combating malaria, for example, an effort estimated to have saved nearly 12 million lives.
Like that right there is a good example. Like not everything the USA does is fucking, not everything the USA does is bad. Okay. That's a great example of this. Spreading American goodwill is done for a nefarious purpose, but it's still actually helping people. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I suspect that they're just going to only spread American ill will and cut out the good stuff. No more covert operations, no more influence peddling. Just straight, you do this or you die. America no longer the good guy? No, America was never the good guy. But it's more so America no longer even maintaining the aesthetic presence of being the good guy who sometimes does bad at the behest of good. Okay, should China pick up the goodwill? China already has been doing that. In the Philippines, China sent a shit ton of Sinovac to the Philippines, okay, during the peak of COVID. And what did the American government do? The American CIA and the American State Department basically said, oh, this is not good. China's actually doing soft power stuff. We don't like it. Instead of actually sending, I don't know, our own COVID pharmaceuticals to the Philippines. We decided to task the agency with undermining the Filipino confidence in vaccines in general. So look forward to more initiatives like that.
Partnership with the U.S. military, USAID officials have often been first to arrive with disaster relief, providing food, water, shelter, and health care to allies and partners.
And this just in, USAID employees are waking up this morning to an email notice telling them not to show up to work today, as Musk says he is shutting the agency down. All of this, George, is happening over the loud objections of Democratic leaders in Congress who say that Elon Musk simply does not have the authority to do what he is now doing.
Well, that's going to be tested right now, but it is something remarkable when the biggest contributor to Donald Trump's campaign is now taking those actions.
Do you think Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is like the #1 China hawk and Mr. CIA, is going to fucking turn around and all of a sudden be like, we're pulling a JFK. We're picking apart USAID piece by piece. Do you see what I'm saying? Secretary Rubio was confirmed by the entirety of the Senate, by the way, 99 votes in favor of his confirmation. Secretary Rubio has now also notified Congress that a review of USAID's foreign assistance activities is underway with an eye towards potential reorganization. As we evaluate USAID and ensure its alignment with an America First agenda and the efforts of the State Department, we will continue to protect the American people's interests and ensure tax dollars are not wasted. The way I foresee this is they take out all the soft power stuff and just keep hard power all the way and become an increasingly more militant version of itself, not realizing that soft power plays a role in military might. Something that I've repeated over and over again is that without soft power, without America maintaining its prominent position as like the top diplomat, okay, without being the global leader of any kind of intervention and any kind of initiatives, 800 military bases all of a sudden can very quickly, almost overnight, turn into 800 different military invasions, okay? Security cooperative agreements can turn into direct boots on the ground military warfare, and that can happen very quickly. The only thing that aesthetically keeps that as a security cooperative agreement and not like direct military invasion and direct military occupation is the attitude that these countries have towards the United States of America. Do you get it? Do you understand? It's something that I've mentioned quite a bit in this past year because of Israel, because of America's hardline approach to Israel, which the Biden administration certainly accelerated. Oh, this is the thing that Will won for me. Most of the stars piece. Could you bring back a samurai sword from Japan? Use it. Wait, what? No, you can't buy. It's harder to buy a Japanese katana in Japan than it is in America. They have I'm pretty sure they have laws against that sort of thing. Against weapons in general, including but not limited to katanas.